Yeah.
Like very,
Yeah.
just shifty. But like I think he has a little bit more top end speed than Westbrook had.
Yeah, he's embracing the whole Bills trade though. He's excited. He's looking forward to it.
And Rex is gonna run the ball, so he's gonna get the ball.
And you know what? We'll probably be talking this in the future, but he's got a good defense that they're putting together there, and they could surprise some people, I think, next year.
I think the Bills and the Dolphins truthfully have closed. I wouldn't say that they've closed the gap on the Patriots, but they definitely are starting to start to poke the bear a little bit. And as the Patriots continue getting older, I think that division's gonna have a few things that they can say.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that they're probably on the rise. I'm gonna wait and see. They've got a defensive-minded coach with the Jets who came in to take over Rex Ryan. Who knows what the Jets are doing, but they're kind of making those strides.
Yeah.
Towards improvement. Eventually, someone's going to catch up with the Patriots, aren't they? Somebody in that division's got to catch up with them.
I promise you, Belichick's retiring the second Tom says I'm done. When Tom says I'm going home to Giselle, Belichick's going to be like, I'm finished.
I wish I could say that. Then I'm going home to Giselle, I meant, not the retiring with Belichick or Brady. Did you check out any of the NBA playoffs this weekend, Quan?
Oh, was that happening this weekend?
That was happening. I
happening.
think so. Yeah.
NBA playoffs.
NBA playoffs.
Dude, that's all
it's
I was
going on
doing.
It's going on every day for the next 2 months.
For the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Crazy. Toronto.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what's up with
let's
them.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's get into that game. That's your team right there. Those Wizards over there. That was surprising to me. I actually picked the Wizards to win that series, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to sweep, and I mean, they murdered them.
They killed them.
We had 2 blowout games. Like I never expected a sweep, but I did know that we were we're a good road playoff team. And I thought if we could steal game 1, that we would put Toronto in a bad way, just off of depending on what we did at home.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we would sweep, but I felt like we could maybe go up 3-1 if, say, we won one in Toronto and then took care of business at home. I knew that it would be that kind of series, but I definitely didn't see sweep, and I definitely, especially after that first game where we gave up the lead and ended up going into overtime, I didn't think that we were just going to mop the floor with them the rest of the way.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be 2 average teams playing against each other, battling really hard.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul Pierce in the playoffs, so I think he stepped up a lot, and it's helped the Wizards, complete that sweep. And I think Raptors might have underestimated, them because of that. Like Pierce is older, and we could deal with that, but I mean, just what he's bringing to the locker room and everything. I mean, that's big for the Wizards.
Yeah.
For John Wall, for just that young squad they have. They have some solid veterans that I think they could be dangerous going into the next couple rounds into the playoffs.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because before I was looking at numbers, odds, because we are in Vegas. And we're looking at futures odds for championships. And your Washington Wizards, before the playoffs started, Josh, were 75-1 to win the championship.
Yeah.
Should have took it.
And currently,
would have been worth the $10 at least.
That would have been worth the 10.
currently they're 12-1.
Oh,
wow.
So
wow.
Vegas knows something.
They do.
Oh yeah, those there's big casinos for a reason, and there's big buildings for a reason. So if you're on that, I think obviously too, there's a factor is that the Cavs, who also swept yesterday, had an injury, and then they're losing a guy. Potentially, you have to wait and see later today. They'll probably announce it. What's going on with J.R. Smith?
I think J.R. Smith for sure is going to be suspended again.
He should be, man. I didn't see that live, but when I saw the replay, I was like, oh wow, like that was complete intent.
Yeah, that
can't just be a game. That's not just a game.
What he like backhanded?
He
back bowed
John
pretty
Bones
much.
Jones twirling
fist.
Yeah, and didn't run like Bones Jones.
Yeah.
And then Olynyk was trying to take a souvenir from the playoffs. He's trying to remove Kevin Love's arm or something. He tried to.
Yeah.
Well,
he said he reached out to Love or tried to. He said it wasn't intentional. I don't think it wasn't his intention to rip it out of his shoulder, but it was his intention to grab. I mean, you know what you're doing.
He's pulling him away from the ball.
It was. I mean, look. All right. Kelly's a great guy, Jerome, my brother and I have known him for a few years now since he was over at Gonzaga, and like I feel like it was just a basketball play where he was basically just trying to, kind of. I mean, there's elements of the game where you can be a little dirty, and he was trying to basically just make Kevin Love work. I think it was really about making Kevin Love work. I don't think it was so much about tearing his arm out of his socket because I mean it was hanging.
Well, we've been saying all this stuff about Kevin Love experiencing injuries all during the year and kind of being down and missing so much time.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty good series.
He did. He had a great series, truthfully.
And now we don't know. They said they'd be out minimum 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look,
I like the injury, and I'm gonna let you guys know why.
Oh, okay.
I like the injury a lot because it gives Kevin Love a lot of rest, and he needs to be ready for next year when he signs with the Lakers with Rondo.
There we go.
With a healthy Kobe. So I like it.
So okay, all right.
I
now,
like the injury.
Because Rondo went out with a fake injury, so he could,
oh my
be
goodness,
ready.
I don't even want to talk about that. That was sad. Like it was like yeah. Rondo, he hurt his back,
and he'll never be with Dallas again.
And he won't play in another game with us the rest of the year.
That's a mess. And Dallas ended up winning a game.
I know.
I didn't think with two of their starters out.
You want to know why they won? Because James Harden showed up in a skirt. Like you just can't do that. You can't do that in a closeout game.
Yeah, he was wearing Bruce Jenner's outfit.
Oh
and
no!
It was not,
you didn't go to.
It was not a good look on Harden last night.
Here we go.
Oh man.
Here we go.
Hey,
that's poor sports. We can get a little trash talk in there. That's
we
for
got
sure.
that.
It's coming. It's coming. Well, it's at this time that I want to play a game with you guys.
Okay.
We introduced the concept of playing a game.
Playing a game.
In a game last week. We're going to continue.
It lasted as long as Monopoly, but
it did. It lasted as long as Monopoly with my grandma.
Oh my goodness! You're talking about week-long games right now. Like
Monopoly
we're coming
with
back.
A toddler.
Yeah. We're trying. We're working these games in.
I got some teams that I want to ask you guys the question: are they a contender or are they a pretender?
Okay.
We had some sweeps. We've got some teams that are resting right now. We have a few teams that are taking their time off. We had mentioned the Wizards, the Cavaliers, the Warriors, who had that ridiculous comeback on Friday night, or was that Thursday night?
That was
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Thursday, and then they
the
played
20-point comeback.
They ended it on Saturday.
The 20-point comeback.
That was amazing. I turned the game off. Seriously, I turned it off when they went up 5 with I think 30 left. I was like, I think it's over. I think it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Same thing. They were up 26, and I'm like, all right.
I went and watched something else. I came back, turned on SportsCenter, and Steve Kerr was at the podium, and he just had a look. They didn't even say they had won, but the way he was looking, I was like,
that was a winning face.
He doesn't look like he's upset.
Yeah.
And they flashed the bomb, they won. I was like, wait a minute, I gotta see these highlights.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad.
That could have been an and one.
It was. It really was. Oof.
Brutal. Okay, so here's the question. I'm gonna ask Quan first.
Okay.
Cavaliers, factoring in the injury and the J.R. Smith pending suspension, we don't know how long it's for.
Yeah.
We know Kevin Love is going to be out a minimum of 2 weeks. I ask you first, are the Cavs a contender or a pretender as of right now?
As of right now, factoring in all those factors, knowing that they have to face the Bulls next, which Bulls should have closed out. They didn't.
They play tonight.
That might hurt them, but they'll probably close out tonight. I'm going to say pretender.
Okay. And why?
For the fact it's the Bulls. I like the Bulls. I picked the Bulls to win the East if Derrick Rose stays healthy. With no Kevin Love, if he's out, 2 to 3 weeks, that's the series.
Right.
He could miss that whole series. J.R. Smith missing even just one game is gonna be kind of brutal for them. I like LeBron. I like Irving. I just don't think they're gonna have enough to compete to deal with Derrick Rose. First of all, I don't think Irving has the defense to deal with Derrick Rose.
Right.
And Noah and Gasol and Jimmy Butler. I just think that the Bulls are gonna be too deep. And with Cavs going into it missing a couple pieces, I think that's really dangerous for them.
Josh.
So, all right. Prior to the Love injury, I would have definitely said a contender. I like Quan. On my show, I picked the Bulls to get to to actually play the Spurs in the championship.
I like that.
And just because the Bulls, truthfully, right now, if you really look at their team top to bottom, they are the most complete team. They have scoring from multiple spots. They have legit bigs that play like legit bigs. And then with the emergence of Jimmy Butler, like Butler, as Charles Barkley would say, the Butler, what's his name? Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker's getting it done right now. He's going to work. So I mean, and then as Quan just said, I don't think Kyrie can really match Derrick Rose physically, like his physicality as far as getting to the lane. I think that's a problem. And end of the day, if Kevin Love's gone, who's stopping Kareem Abdul-Gasol? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
That's a good point. That if he's out, the Kevin Love it's mapped out for 2 weeks. It said minimum. It's 2 weeks, and the second round starts. Say the best case scenario, the second round's not going to start till Saturday. With their first game wouldn't be until Saturday. So he'd be a week in to this recovery time, but then that whole second week there'd be at least 2 games played.
Yeah.
So he could miss the first 2 games in Cleveland. He probably won't come back right away and play the whole game 3. So yeah, you could be looking at maybe a 2-1 scenario for the Bulls.
Easily, yeah.
And then you factor in J.R. Smith is going to be suspended at least 1 game.
Yeah.
But
Maybe 2.
But I agree with you.
Those are the 2 home games in Cleveland.
Right.
Those are 2 Cleveland home games that they're going to be down.
Okay, now I'm going to start with you now.
Okay. All right,
and real quick on this series, I'm going to also factor in the first round matchups. I think Bulls have actually had a more competitive first round to where they've actually had to play a lot harder. And Cleveland, they swept. They didn't impress me in that sweep. They played a team that shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, being in the East. How many games under 500 were they?
They were 12 or something, or 10.
No, not that much.
They were 2. Because
the
Celtics.
Yeah, because the
Just
Celtics.
a couple
the
games under
Celtics
500.
they went 20 and whatever, and then they went 20 and 11 in the second half.
Yeah.
Because they ended up 40 and 42.
Yeah.
They ended up 40 and 42.
That's right. But even just being under 500, making it to the playoffs in the West, that you don't even come close.
No.
So being a team like that, and I do look forward to Boston's future. I think they have some good young pieces. Marcus Smart, really good. Isaiah Thomas, great pickup. They wouldn't have been there without him.
No.
But I just think the competition level that the Bulls are facing right now and what they're doing to Milwaukee, even though they lost last game, compared to what the struggles I think Cleveland had with Boston, I think that factors in a lot as well.
Looks like the Bucks the Bucks are able to challenge them a little bit more with their size and their length.
Coaching as well.
Coaching is good. Jason Kidd's an experienced coach.
Jason Kidd, but then also when you go into the next round, if you're talking Thibodeau versus
Black.
Thank you.
Yeah.
LeBron. I'm still gonna take
If
Thibodeau.
Philly could have a player coach, so can Cleveland.
Yeah, Joel Embiid's going to be named the coach next week. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I did.
He's head coach of the Sixers next week. They're just going to rotate. They're going to have a coaching staff. It's going to be their first round picks are going to be their coaches.
What's next series?
So the Warriors.
Okay.
Are they a contender or are they a pretender? I feel kind of silly asking you this, but are they a contender or a pretender?
They're definitely proving to be a contender. I definitely don't think you can you can look past them.
Oh.
What I will say is this. They're one of their home losses during the season, because they went 39-2 was to San Antonio.
Yeah.
And and I still think San Antonio, their execution is like so insane. I posted about this yesterday. Like, they just play beautiful basketball.
Yeah.
Like, you can hate them all you want, but like, you can't hate the way they play, because
you have to respect
you
them.
have to.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're out there doing it with smoke and mirrors. They're doing it with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I agree. Mark.
Yep. I'm gonna say, seeing them come back, being a young team, and seeing that comeback on Thursday, I think that showed a lot for them and for the growth that they've had. So I'm definitely gonna say contenders.
An early test.
It was, and I think they definitely passed. And we've seen them the past couple years get farther in the playoffs, and they just can't get over that hump. I think this is the year that, we saw in the past in the playoffs they weren't hitting the shots like they were in the regular season.
Yeah.
right now in the playoffs, they look better to me hitting those shots than they were in the regular season.
I think this breaks really well for them too, going into the next round against the Grizzlies, who could potentially have Conley with a mask or something. He's a facial surgery.
Yeah,
he's gonna miss Game 4 against the Blazers. This could break really well. No pun intended. This breaks really well for the Warriors to get into that conference round, the conference championship round, and they've got to play the Clippers or the Spurs. They don't have to play them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna let them beat themselves up. So.
I think now if Conley was healthy, that series is going to be interesting simply because the Grizzlies are who they are. They play for this time of year. They play old school basketball.
Yeah.
Again, they have a complete team.
The grindhouse.
Yeah, they have two legit bigs that I don't, I think that's if there's a one drawback to the Warriors, I think it's definitely their interior play. Yeah. And if you get into a series where they can actually start to bully them a little bit, and and it's the playoffs, the game slows down.
Right.
So if we can actually just start grinding out some buckets, it depends on Conley.
Yeah.
If Conley is decent, I think that they'll at least make that 6-game
And
series.
we saw the way Anthony Davis played. They didn't feed him enough.
No.
But he tore, like, they had no answer for him.
Inside,
so
nothing.
Memphis, 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
You have Zach Randolph that dude's a bully. Marcus Gasol.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard. And Golden State doesn't have an answer for that. So if Memphis is smart with the way Mike Conley's playing, no one expected Conley to play this way against Lillard.
Yeah.
And he's outplayed him by far.
Yeah.
I think you could almost say that Lillard's kind of taken a step back
Yeah,
from the progress he was
last
experiencing last
playoffs.
season.
Last
Kind
playoffs
of
for sure.
Step back.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're missing Matthews. Quan says I can't really use it as an excuse anymore, but Matthews is he's gone, so they don't really have that.
And I think Portland. I think
there.
that's Portland's fault for letting that affect them as much as it is.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a big loss.
What I will
yeah.
say, what I will say to that, what I can counter to that is they did pick up Aaron Aflalo right before that injury. So I actually thought that actually that was fortuitous because even though Wesley Matthews got hurt, they did already pick up somebody that kind of had the same type of mindset. But that's still 15, 18 points that you have to replace every game.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
True.
Moving on to my next contender or pretender for you guys. Quan, the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls.
Are they a contender?
Contender. As long as D Rose stays healthy, they're a contender. The way he's playing, even though he had that turnover late in the game, for the last possession where they end up Bayless ended up getting that back door,
losing the game. Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
That was a major mistake, which could have propelled them to a sweep. But even with that, I think the way he's been playing, he looks like old school Derrick Rose. And I don't know if he's putting it all out there because he's saying this might be my last chance to really do this because my body keeps breaking down, so let me go all out. But he looks great. He looks like Derrick Rose from the 2011.
Yeah.
When he was in the playoffs. And so with that factoring in, if he doesn't get hurt, they look like the best team in the East. With the bigs that we mentioned before with Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol, a really solid bench.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler's been balling still.
Mirotic, if he's healthy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Playing really well.
I definitely think the Bulls are. I was gonna say a pretender. I definitely think the Bulls are a contender.
Yeah.
And it goes back to just what he said. It goes back to D Rose. Everything with the Bulls is D Rose. At the end of the day, but I'll go even one better. I think the biggest thing that Derrick Rose still has to get better at, and he's starting to. You've kind of seen it a little bit. Is he doesn't have to be the Derrick Rose of 2011 where they won an MVP and he had no pieces around him and he basically willed that team to the best record in the East. He doesn't have to be that guy.
Yeah.
He can truthfully just be a 12, 15 point a game guy, and he has weapons now that he can feed the ball to and be a point guard.
And I think that's the mistake they made in Game 4, and even the coach, the play calling from the coach. If that was his play call, Derrick Rose was trying to take it 1 against 3 when he had other people. Everyone knew Derrick Rose was going to have the ball, so I thought they could have just tricked everybody, gave it to someone else quicker, and had them score to win the game.
Now, I will say that I didn't mind the play call because at the end of the day, who was that? Jared Bayless. Bayless can't stay in front of Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
So and he had proven that. What I will say on that play when Joakim Noah came over to set that pin down screen, it brought bodies. And really, all you have to do in that situation, because I really wish the Wizards would do this more, like in hard situations, spread the floor and just let your players play.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give him an ISO, or send everyone to the opposite side of the floor and let him work a whole side versus trying to take middle and then people pinching down and jamming up the lane. So I didn't mind the call. I just didn't like the execution of it. And on top of that, for him to lose it, with a little bit of time on the clock, that hurt. And then they ended up losing the game. They didn't even get to overtime. Like, that hurt.
Now, do you think they've got to watch this is just like a side question for Bulls, for the Chicago Bulls. Do you think that they need to, they've got to watch the turnovers? I don't think that they can have this many turnovers in a series with the Cavs, regardless of J.R. Smith and Kevin Love aren't playing. They can't turn the ball over that much, because the Cavs have shown at spurts during this season, like right before the All-Star break and then right after the All-Star break, they can score in bunches if they need to. And those turnovers, it operates differently if you're the Bucks offense trying to convert turnovers than if you're the Cavs offense. They've got to cut down on turnovers, and he's just got Rose in particular has got to be smarter with the ball. But I agree with what you're saying, that Butler is turning into a star right in front of us.
He really is. I truthfully didn't know if it was real, until I'd say maybe midway through the season, because he had been playing well, but D Rose wasn't there, and so I was like, okay, well, he's getting the lion's shares of the shots, so if anybody in the league, if you get the opportunity to take 20 shots, you should be able to average 15 to 20 if you're getting 20 shots.
Sure.
But no, some of the shots he was making in that game, even though they lost, to bring them back before half, they were down 9, like a minute left, and they go into halftime tied. He makes that 3, like leaning it, he's gonna be a problem. And that's something that Cleveland's gonna have to answer. But to your point of fast break points, LeBron team, they're going to be leak outs, so you have to take care of the ball. You can't gift points away.
You wonder if they're almost going to be changed when this series happens, when it does start again, when the Cavs starts playing again. You wonder if it's going to change for the Cavs. Are they going to be looking more to an Iman Shumpert to be converting more baskets? Are they going to be leaning more heavily on that? Because Kevin Love is a big, but he's a perimeter big. So those shots are obviously going to be taken, and J.R. Smith, who shoots, he's never met a 3 that he hasn't liked. So he's not going to be there to be taking those shots. So they'd be leaning more towards a Shumpert and Kyrie. We haven't been talking too much about Kyrie Irving, it seems, but he's there. But I mean,
I still am not a real believer in Kyrie Irving. Okay. I'm sorry. I feel the same way.
It's okay. I accept that apology.
I like him. I like his game. But it was funny because one of the leagues and things that I'm a part of online, they actually posted a question about who's better, Kyrie or Steph, and a lot of people were saying Kyrie, and I was like, Steph was taking a Warriors team to the playoffs in the West with not much, versus Kyrie never even was able to get a team in the East.
Not even close.
Not even close to the playoffs. So it's like, how is that even a competition? What are we even talking about right now?
Yeah.
And I'm not a believer. Same way is what you're saying, and for some of the same reasons. Right now, he's just not consistent to me like a Steph Curry is. You know what I'm saying? Where Steph is every single night,
every game.
You know what he's gonna do.
Yes, you do.
And you can't stop that. You could know what he's going to do and defend that, and you can't stop it.
On.
and we'll see Irving have these huge games. He's had some 50-point games this season, but then he'll have those games where it's like
12.
He's mellowed out. He's not doing much, and you can tell his attitude's not there and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest thing he's missing is that killer instinct game by game.
Right.
And I think that is something that could hurt him even going into this next series with the Bulls. When can it start if Bulls close out tonight?
I don't think that, because the playoffs, it's weird because there's 3 teams that have swept, and then there's teams that are on the verge of clinching their series. I don't think the second round can start until the other teams are at least game 6 or 7. Okay. I don't think you can start the second. The first round is mapped out to go until Saturday. So I don't think you can play a second round game until Saturday.
Yeah, I was wondering on that too, because they kept saying basically Kevin Love is given this week to rest. And I'm like, well, if the Bulls end it, how are they? Are they basically just not gonna have games for 5 days? So
I don't think they can play until until they're at a certain
So all
point
the
where they're in
series are closer
like
to
6th
the
or
end.
7th game.
well, because the Hawks is still on. They're starting game 4. They're just now getting to game 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and that was weird. I'm watching games on Saturday, and there's some that are closeout games, and then
Yeah.
Hawks and Nets, which nobody seems to care about, is
Not
on
really.
game 3. And that game was horrible. I tried to watch
It's not
it.
on television right now. I think it was on. I think they're putting it on Oxygen.
It was on Lifetime.
Yeah. I don't even remember if it was.
That's
on.
great.
I don't think it's on television. Was
Hey,
it?
I look, and I can't even laugh at the Hawks because the Wizards have been getting like the Boo Boo channel over and over again. Like I look up and we're on like C-SPAN. I'm like what the heck?
Cartoon
Like-
Network.
Like how like
C-SPAN.
like how's this happening right now?
Nick at Night, tape delay.
Safe delay. 1978 right now.
After they replay Friends, they're gonna show the Hawks game. Yeah.
Live cut-ins.
Commentator by Brett Musburger from the studio.
Oh gosh.
That's great.
Yeah, they don't show them a lot of respect. They
And
know
you
who
always
they
get a
like.
couple
They know they
first rounds
feature.
Like that, yeah.
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 LeBron's on every Sunday.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of a series that's still a series in the first round, Clippers responded yesterday.
Hey.
Your beloved Clippers,
Hey.
Juan,
Like Ice Cube said. What'd he say?
said
I
they're
don't
terrible.
have a problem with the Clippers. They just need to get the hell out of L.A.
Yeah, that's right. Go to San Diego.
Go back to San Diego.
Oh no, yeah. Go
to
back to where
Buffalo.
you can actually be a Clipper.
They wouldn't even. They don't care. They wouldn't follow him if they went to San Diego.
No.
Would they? Nah. Anyway.
Who you mean Clipper fans?
Yeah.
They don't even know. They don't know what they're doing. They're just going. They just go to the arena whenever they have
They're
a game
just so
for
excited.
for
they're
the party.
They're excited for this this period of Clipper stardom that they
Yeah.
have right now.
That if they lose in this first round, we'll have a lot to talk about with that. Because can you keep this team together when they can't get too far?
I talked about this actually on my show on Trash Talking with Legends, and the funny thing is, I felt like truthfully, if the Rockets or the Clippers lost in this first round series, like there's no more excuses for either of those coaches.
Yeah.
You know,
there's
like,
none.
Like even though the West is tough, I know it's tough, but every year you guys have like such high hopes
Yeah.
and then take a first round exit like over and over again. You have to do something at the coaching level,
Right,
as
yeah.
well as also with the players.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the Clippers. It always seemed to me that people would say that the Clippers have so much talent, and Blake Griffin is right on the cusp of becoming a superstar, and DeAndre Jordan is contending for Defensive Player of the Year, pretty regularly. He's a force.
Not
But-
at that line.
But then there's a lot of these guys who are like, they've got a lot of gunners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not guys that you're
Yeah.
saying, well, I know he's good for 25.
Yeah.
He could be good for 5.
Yeah. Or 55.
And that I think that's the thing that kind of
Yeah.
makes people kind of scratch their heads when it comes to the Clippers. I don't think they're, I'm going to say this, I don't think they're built for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just because it's a grind. And the Spurs
They're
are
built for everything.
they're built for everything.
They're built for tough.
Yeah.
They are. They are. So, do you think that the Spurs obviously are contenders, the defending
definitely,
champions?
definitely.
But is this like it for the Clippers? Is this the make or break type scenario?
I think it is. And if you're playing contender pretender with the Clippers, they're definitely a pretender. I don't see them
agree.
beating 3 of the top teams in the West to get to the finals.
I got so excited after game 1. I was like, man, the Clippers, man, they're gonna be my sleeper.
I'll put it to you like this: the Clippers have to play so hard. Like when you really like in the games that they lost, like so in game 2 when they lost, they had a chance to go up 2-0, and they made those critical mistakes at the end of game 2.
Yeah.
And you could see just the desperation, but then also like Blake just was so dejected after they lost. Like they gave that everything they had. Like that was everything they had, and the Spurs still didn't even play that great.
No.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, Charles actually, not to keep quoting Charles Barkley, but Charles actually was saying, the Spurs are always gonna be playing at 8 to 9 level. Like
Yeah.
they don't have to go to 10 very often, but they're always gonna be at 8. And to beat their 8, you have to be at 10. Like
Yeah.
you have to be at 9 or 10 to beat them 4 times in a row.
that's gonna be the challenge for any team.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Spurs have done it so long they could almost sleepwalk through the games.
Yeah.
And still
Go down
win.
12.
They might
15.
lose, but if not, they don't trip out when they lose.
Well,
Yeah.
They lost game 1. No one cared.
No,
You just keep going.
Pop didn't care.
Now we play next game. It's a 7-game series.
Yep.
They've done this for 15 years with
Yeah.
almost the same superstars, and it's crazy to see. Every year we think they're not going to be as good. After game 1, we're like, oh yeah, maybe Spurs are. And now it's 2-2.
close up shop.
And
They
Clippers
don't have
played great yesterday
Yeah.
to get that win.
Yeah.
Well, and Popovich too. That they won Game 3 by 27 points.
yeah.
Okay, he seems upset. You thought he lost by 6
Yeah.
or something. He seems like he's ticked off, and they won. He's like, we didn't play very well. We weren't boxing out as well as I would have liked. It's like, what? Like, you won the game, man.
But that's how you keep winning. You're
That's how
never
he's.
satisfied.
That's his mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Just let me be great.
And they adapt, and
Yeah.
and they've always adopted that kind of philosophy to
Yeah.
where they're like just sold out for the team. It doesn't matter who scores. It doesn't matter who does what. Just show up and let's just knock it down.
And actually, truthfully, I actually was saying this the other day. Like, imagine how good they would be if they had a functional center.
Yeah.
Like, if they had a center where it's like you gotta worry about him too. Like, if they even had somebody like that, because Splitter.
And they never have.
Well,
Splitter-
and Thiago Splitter's hurt. I mean, he's not even 100%.
Even when he's healthy,
His
he
game's
has,
been hurt since he came in the league.
He has hands of
Thiago
stone.
Splitter.
He has hands of stone. Like, I mean, like he
Yeah.
gets bunnies and like
Yeah.
below it, and I'm like, come on, man, that was a big bucket. Like,
He wouldn't even
Brazilian,
get playing
they should
time on
kick the
another
ball to
team.
him.
yeah, yeah.
He's the type that wouldn't even get much playing time on any
Like,
other team.
imagine if Enes Kanter ended up in San Antonio. Like,
Oh.
you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if one of those was there.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be unfair. Like, that wouldn't even be fair for them.
They haven't had a center since David Robinson.
Since David.
Yeah.
Since David, truthfully.
Had
That's true.
Nazi Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had
Trying to think who they've had for their championship runs. Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
really haven't had one. It's because remember Tim started playing center because they just didn't have
Yeah.
anybody there, and they
Right.
could kind of roll somebody to the 4.
yeah.
But the way that offense runs, though, they don't really need
Yeah.
a true center. They need a guy to fill the spot. But
Yeah.
if Duncan plays the way he does, and Parker has flashes of being healthy,
Yeah.
then
Parker has just periods of pure dominance. Like,
Yeah.
almost every game, like, there's just a stretch where, like, oh, this is Tony Stretch.
Yeah.
Where, like, he'll just rattle off 15 in a row, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, he did that all game.
All right, well then the Spurs are going to win again, so we don't need to.
I mean, they could lose this series. I don't know. It's
could.
going to be tough, but
Even though they lost yesterday, I like the Spurs
yeah.
on Tuesday.
Same thing.
I like them.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's-
I think they're gonna end it in 6. I don't think
Yeah.
that it's gonna go to. I don't think it's gonna make it back to LA one more time after this next game.
Yeah.
Man. And then DeAndre Jordan's going to be like a Nugget or something and get max money next year.
No, I think he's gonna stay.
You do?
I think he's gonna stay. It's smart. It like truthfully like, if I was a player, I'd take like a 1 or 2 year deal because I'd wait on that
to
television
wait, yeah.
that television contract.
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah.
get locked into any kind of and it's scary. I will say that is scary because you could basically take the quick cash grab now and get 70 million, or you could basically bet on yourself and bet that you're gonna stay healthy and bet that the situation's gonna
Yeah.
continue to stay in your
Then maybe
favor.
he wins Defensive Player of the Year next year, and
Yeah.
you're able
you know
to
what I mean?
parlay
Like,
that into something big.
I'd
That's
stay
true.
because I mean you could potentially get 25 million as a second
Yeah.
tier guy in 2 years.
But to me, he's the type of player that could also fall off in 2 years.
Yeah, if Chris Paul
especially with his
leaves.
free throw stuff too. Like that stuff affects a player like him. It doesn't affect superstars like Shaq.
Yeah.
But when you have to take him out of the game because they're just gonna keep fouling you,
You're cutting into
like,
his minutes.
that's
Right.
big. That's big.
He is a rebounding machine.
Oh yeah,
It-
absolutely.
Like he had like 12 rebounds in the first quarter. I was
Yeah.
like, they're like, and DeAndre's already at 12.
Yeah.
I was like, 12? I was like, is anybody else even trying right now? Like, what is going? That's amazing. That's
And you don't go up. You don't try to take the ball to the rim with him in the middle.
Well, all this being said, we ditched the game now. At all this being said, who is your pick for who's going to win the championship?
I'm still sticking with. I got to stick with the picks I picked. Before the playoffs started with Memphis and Chicago.
Wow.
And like I said, Memphis because of their bigs.
Yeah.
And now even more the way Conley's been playing has impressed me a lot. It's hard. It's hard, but man,
that West is just so hard, and by the time someone gets there, you're like, what do they have left?
And that's the thing. The East sometimes wins by default because the West, by the time they get there, they're tired. They're beat up.
I've got nothing left to give.
And the best two teams in the East, they only had one tough series, and that was playing against each other in the last round. So, and now the Eastern Conference Finals is in a week. You know what I'm saying? Like Cleveland and Chicago, that's the Eastern Conference Finals.
Basically.
Sorry.
Hey, it's all right.
But I just think that's,
Wizards get surprised though.
I like the
Wizards.
They have confidence now.
I like the Wizards against the Hawks.
We struggled against the Hawks, but we got swept by the Raptors. So I mean, I truthfully don't know. And at the end of the day, again, it's another rookie head coach. It's rookie head coach. So these kind of series, anything can happen.
Yeah.
If we can go there and steal one, like we stole, we're such a great road playoff team. If we can steal one, especially game one. If you can steal game one, you put all the onus back on that on the favorite. Now they have to win. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Versus if you steal game two, they kind of like, all right, well you're expecting them to get one. But if you can steal game one as that underdog team, it definitely boosts your. If we're watching ESPN, they're now a 73% that they're gonna they have a better chance to win.
Yeah.
So.
And so then you've got Bulls Grizzlies.
Bulls Grizzlies. I got to stick with it.
Okay. I had Clippers Bulls.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's serious.
I know.
You guys were going all
Now,
off the
did
reservation.
you think it was 2004 and Kobe actually went to the Clippers?
Oh no, that's great.
Yeah,
That's good.
Actually, I did.
All right.
That's good.
It's not an
That's
all-time.
rough.
It's not an all-time matchups.
Not all
Fan
time.
voting.
All-time people that might have went to the Clippers versus the rest.
Oh man, what would have been?
I'd kind of feel like, you know what? The scenario wouldn't break for two teams to finally break through. I think that the Bulls stuff is lining up for them.
Yeah.
For them to break through in the East. I think a lot of stuff has to happen for the Clippers to break through.
Yeah.
But I said, well, I was saying to myself, if it's gonna happen, it's got to be this year because I don't think the Clippers in this capacity are gonna. I'm not picking the Clippers to win the championship. I just said that. I think this could be the year to where we could kind of have that funky team get there, and I'm saying that the Clippers are funky.
Yeah.
And you're going Bulls Spurs.
I'm going Bulls Spurs. I mean, I still think Tom Thibodeau is gonna get fired after the year, which is just lunacy.
And coach the Pelicans next year.
But I still think that the Bulls top to bottom, it's all on Rose. Even some of my friends from Chicago are very nervous. They're like, if you guys get past Atlanta and we beat Cleveland, we're gonna have to play you, and they just feel nervous about playing the Wizards for some reason.
Yeah.
But that's tough. That's a tough one.
I'm telling you right now, you're thinking about all the Western Conference, the possibilities for matchups in the Western Conference playoffs. I would love to see every game of that Wizards Bulls conference championship.
Yeah.
I would love to see those games.
They're two teams that are
Wall against Rose?
eerily
Woo,
similar.
Come on.
I mean, both
I'd love it.
both teams have legit bigs. They play old man basketball. They don't have no stretch fours.
Yep.
They're not trotting out a whole rack of centers that want to be guards. They've got centers that want to be centers, and they're on the block, and they're it's nasty. And then when you have what I will say is the Bulls players have a little bit better determined roles. Whereas the Wizards, from Beal to Pierce, some of our roles kind of change from game to game.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bulls, Mike Dunleavy Jr., he's not driving to the cup. He's running off screens,
Right.
and he's going to be pulling shots. So I think, I think it's going to come down to coaching, and Thibodeau, truthfully, to me, is just a better coach than Randy Whitman.
Well, I mean, that experience is going to play. It's really strange because, like you're saying, Thibodeau could be fired this year.
Stupid.
Regardless of what happens. Well, yeah, but the ownership is notorious for doing dumb things.
Always.
So
They're just why do they
Always.
do they forget what it was like when they had Ben Gordon and Kirk Heinrich running around? They've forgotten.
Eddie Curry?
They've My brother played on those Bulls teams with Eddie Robinson and Tyson Chandler and
rough.
And Scotty coming back and trying to get people excited. Like those were rough years. So
and the rumors that Scottie Pippen died over the weekend are false, by the way.
What?
People go on these fake websites and they'll post them up on Facebook.
That's not funny.
And I'm like,
don't be playing with me. That Scotty's my man.
Somebody's like, did this really happen? I'm like, wait, let me check the source before I react. And no, it was fake.
It was TMZ.
That's not funny. That's
Perez Hilton.
Yeah. I work with Scotty. I still I got some things. I got some jobs to do with Scotty.
Yeah, he better be alive.
Really?
He's alive. He's alive.
That's good to know. Yeah. I'll have to text him.
But there's a big possibility that we could have, with the Wizards playing how they are, a 1975 championship revised.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Golden State versus Washington.
Wow.
Crazy.
Earl the Pearl's back.
Now, that would be cool.
Back in full effect.
Rick Barry. Rick Barry.
This has been such a strange year, like, for basketball just in general.
And that's why I want to see two teams that haven't been there.
That's exciting.
I don't want to see Spurs again. Even Bulls to me is like too soon almost for a season like this, even though it's been,
like
16 years.
Atlanta making it would be exciting.
It would be
like
cool.
give a like Memphis. I love the Memphis pick because truthfully those are fans that have never been there.
Exactly.
So like
they go nuts.
And with that last CBA, it would look good for that CBA too to see a Memphis versus Washington or Memphis versus Atlanta.
For those size markets.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the CBA was all about.
The NBA would I mean, I think that Adam would kill himself, but I mean, truthfully, it makes the league look better.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
Baseball, if you really look at baseball, they've had a litany of different teams. Even though the Yankees and the Red Sox always seem to get there every few years, the Royals, a few years back with Anaheim winning and just like those kind of teams getting there. It's exciting. It definitely helps the overall, state of the game, I think.
I think so too. You've got that's kind of the trade-off of that the larger market teams, the Knicks and Lakers, the Sixers, whatever is going on there. the Lakers, Sixers, the Knicks have been out of the limelight, and this stuff has kind of shifted to these teams and these other markets. You had the power shift in the East with LeBron going back home, so you knew there's going to be a drop-off for Miami.
Yeah.
Atlanta obviously improved. Atlanta was going to be a playoff team. We just didn't think they were going to be at this level.
I truthfully didn't even know if they were going to be a playoff team because remember, they snuck in the back door last year.
Yeah.
They snuck in just like Boston and Brooklyn did this year.
Yeah, I probably projected them as being like a
7-8.
7-8.
At the most, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Not the one.
I definitely didn't think they were gonna move up past like 4 or 5. Like,
because even Miami should have made the playoffs if Bosh didn't go out.
That's true. Bosh is. They're probably gonna be. They probably would have been in that Boston spot.
Yeah.
They could have been in Boston spot. Then you could have had Miami playing Cleveland in the first round of the playoffs.
I wanted that so bad.
Yeah,
I wanted them to be 7.
That would have been
great.
And
when they fell apart, I was like, that would have been great.
Well, it's like a heavyweight fight, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, here we go.
It is.
And
did you write that one down?
I'm writing it down now. It's kind of like a heavyweight fight. These playoffs. That's not a real smooth segue, but I tried.
It worked.
You gave it your best.
But Saturday, you heard there's going to be a fight.
There's going to be a fight.
And well, first of all, I want to just say this as a disclaimer. Mayweather is a local. Okay,
the local.
He's Vegas's own, sort of.
Vegas's own.
Vegas's own.
He's like most of us. He's come from somewhere.
He's come from somewhere to Vegas. Team Money.
The Money Team, TMT.
I want your.
He has a lot of money to have a logo that looks very average. So I just want to say that.
I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle logo.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have money in his mouth guard? He has money in everything. He has money. There's actual money in his mouth guard.
Look. You know what? When you said that though, like I truthfully believed it, and that's like that.
No, that's
true.
True.
That really just goes to the power of Mayweather right there. Like I wouldn't even feel.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
he has money
felt
everywhere.
He has. There's $100 bills in his mouth guard that he's gonna be fighting with on Saturday.
That's
they had a custom mouth guard. It's like a $2,500 mouth guard. And yes, I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
On Saturday night, at the end of the night, when we're talking to each other through social media or text messaging, when we're harassing each other, Saturday night around 10:30, who is going to win this fight?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
And new welterweight champion. I did it. I did it.
You did it.
I did it. I did it for Philippines. That's my guy, man. I gotta go with Manny. Simply just because it's gotta be him. It's gotta be. If it's not him,
Gotta be.
I thought it could have been Canelo, truthfully, and then Canelo got his butt just destroyed. But I mean, I will say this: Manny is going to take the fight to Floyd, and I think that a lot of people, for the most part, that's usually what deters guys from winning. Is like they'll take it to Floyd for a round, maybe two, and then they just let Floyd kind of do what he's gonna do. And it's like, if you know that straight left jab is gonna come, you've just gotta say, I've gotta go through this. You just gotta keep fighting through it. You know what I mean? If you know you're gonna get hit either way, then it's like, well, hit me and hit him.
He's the only fighter not intimidated, I think, by Floyd.
Well, that's true.
Because
he's been waiting for this,
and he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because people are almost expecting him to lose. So I don't think he has as much to lose. So he's going in it with more confidence.
Yeah.
So I'm actually picking Manny as well. I think it's a TKO in the 9th.
Wow.
TKO. What are you going?
I think he needs to win by knockout. And if he doesn't win by knockout,
if it goes decision, he won't get a decision.
I will say this: if it goes decision, he's gonna have to have knocked him down once.
Yeah.
If he can knock him down, he can win.
True.
He can win. I won't say he will, but he can, because Floyd's never been down. So if he can knock him down, it's definitely up for discussion. Especially if he can knock him down like earlier, middle of the round, middle of the fight, he has a good shot. But if he doesn't do that, if it just goes into a shoulder, if it goes into the shoulder shrug over and over again for 20 odd minutes, then he's not gonna win.
Wow.
Who you got, Frank?
I'm going a different direction.
There you go.
I respect it.
I think that the fight ultimately is going to be action-packed in the first 5 or 6 rounds. There's going to be a lot of exchanges, and I think that Pacquiao is going to push the pace. I just think that Mayweather will make those in-fight adjustments that he makes, it seems, in the 6th and 7th and 8th rounds. And then I think that ultimately Mayweather is going to win a decision. And it'll be a good fight. We're going to be talking about it as it being a good fight. I think a lot of people are saying, well, this fight is like, we've been waiting for 3-4 years for this fight to finally happen, and now it doesn't seem as exciting. You still want to see the fight.
I think it's more exciting right now.
Yeah, you still want to see it.
Yeah.
I think the anticipation when it took so long at first, I was like, man, this is like it's
not
too
gonna
long.
happen again.
I think there's more anticipation now than there would have been 4 years ago.
When they finally announced it happening, because it's been a quick turnaround for it to finally come together.
Yeah.
I still thought like there's gonna be some hang up in like the next 3 or 4 days, and they're gonna say, fight's off. So with the fact that we're here is really exciting for me.
Yeah.
Because I grew up, my father and my grandfather and the uncles and whatever, I'm Cuban, so the family's brought up. It's like they like baseball and they like boxing, and we watch boxing with the family. We watch baseball and we watch boxing growing up. So I'm excited for the fight. I'm excited to see it, and I really do think it's gonna be a really good fight. And I can't wait to spend my $100. Or I'm going to get VIP over Josh's. I'm going to pay $25 for VIP.
Nice.
He said that I can have a free plate of ribs
There you go.
That's right.
for $25.
His ribs are, he gets all you can eat ribs.
How about it?
And I haven't been this excited about boxing in a long time, probably since a Tyson fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's been a while, and so I think it's bringing out the boxing fans that have given up on boxing.
Right.
That the fans of UFC.
People segueing
that
to
people
UFC,
love UFC now and watching that. I think it's bringing everyone. It's like a Super Bowl where everybody, even if you don't like boxing, everyone's going to be at the parties.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be watching. Just keep them out of the room I'm in if they're not a fan of boxing.
Right.
But it's one of those things where this is going to be a holiday.
Yeah, and it's what makes it, like, that's what we're saying about, that's why I kept teasing about it being the biggest sports weekend of the year and being a big sports weekend, is that we don't get many fights like this.
Yeah.
We don't get to see matchups like this. You mentioned Canelo. I mean, I love the guy.
Yeah.
Canelo in Spanish is cinnamon, by the way.
Yeah.
But
Whoa.
It is. Yeah.
So did he used to be a stripper? Like
I was gonna go there, but I'm glad you jumped to it already. But
Nice. Leaned into that one, too. That was good.
I did. He hit me right on the chin. He hit me right on the chin.
They call me Cinnamon.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I don't know a lot of.
They call me her. I don't know my name yet.
How do you
it used to be Bruce.
Oh no.
My bad.
Back
Go
to
ahead.
another Bruce.
Wow, Cinnamon. He could change the Cinnamon.
He might.
It's
Or
coming.
she might. I don't know. Her.
I'm trying to remember what Floyd kept calling him in the lead up to that fight. Like, I can't remember.
What he called Bruce Jenner?
No. When
No,
he
they
called,
haven't
when he
fought
called
yet.
Canelo.
Not
When
yet.
he
He's waiting for
called
the
Canelo.
full changeover to finally wrestle with him.
He's waiting for the transition.
Oh, brother.
Poor
This is
sports.
just going left.
Poor sports show. Wow, we're going out there. Anywho, so we're excited for the weekend. Excited for these fights. I was gonna do an in-depth Kentucky Derby preview, but I don't know any of the names of the horses, so we're gonna. I don't know.
Horse
that's,
1, horse 2.
That's
It's
the
a
one.
great-
That's the sad part about I think the Kentucky Derby and horse racing in general. Just in the public lexicon, I think it's really starting to fall off.
You got to be a diehard.
Especially on a weekend like this.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's
it's
what's
gonna
hard
get
about
lost
it.
in the
too.
shuffle.
It definitely will.
Somebody at like 3:00 in the afternoon. By the way, if the Spurs and Clippers go to a Game 7, it will be Saturday night at 7:30.
Oh my God. No, we can't.
Just in case.
Adam Silver, don't let it
That's
happen.
crazy.
You need
Just
to put
in
the call
case it
into
goes to
Joey
Game
Crawford.
7, it'll be Saturday night.
Joey, don't call that foul.
That's right. He's gonna be saying that at halftime of Game 6.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go-
Joey's gonna be
Make
getting
sure
the,
that doesn't happen.
he's gonna be
Surprisingly,
getting
Joey
the-
Crawford's the official on Saturday, on
yeah.
Game 6.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Don't be shocked.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if that works against for or against the Spurs because remember Joey Crawford was the one that
Yeah,
threw
he kicked
Tim
out
out.
Dunk-
That's right.
Tim
For
on the
laughing?
bench. Yeah.
Against
Hey,
Dallas.
bro, get out of here. That's
You're
right.
gone.
It's going to be an interesting weekend, and I think it's bad timing if you're a horse or if you're a horse race fan for this weekend. Maybe not if you're a horse, but you're a horse race fan, that it's going to be kind of lost in the shuffle. All we'll be talking about is the hats because Saturday is going to belong to the fights and the draft
Draft still, yeah.
and
Playoffs.
Josh seeing Avengers for the third time.
Nice.
And
Nice.
all those things is going to play a part. It's gonna be a huge weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Ex Machina. I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see that
Yeah.
too.
That looks crazy.
Robot girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not gonna go there. We call her Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Or
Yeah.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So who's your poor sport?
Bruce.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling you already know. I
No,
didn't
it's
ask.
actually, I forgot his name. So, do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know his name. The name doesn't matter. It's the guy that lost to Bruce Jenner in the '76 Olympics because he ultimately lost to a girl.
I can't even go.
I'm picking on that guy.
I'm
my
kind of
bad.
speechless right now, Josh.
Yeah,
Do you have?
I'm stuck. Man, let's see. All right, I got you. Poor sport. I'll have to go J.R. Swish with the with the
backhand?
fight tactics. Well, actually, you know what? No, J.R. Swish and Kendrick Perkins. Like, what did my man Crowder do to anybody? Like,
Yeah.
they were just going at that guy like he was the, like they sent the goon line in hockey. Like that was
Yeah.
crazy.
We've got to stop Crowder.
Yeah.
We want to clinch this game.
He is
Take
the
him
key.
out. Yeah.
Cut the head of the snake. Like that was a little crazy to me. So
Here, get in there and smack Jay Crowder around.
You never know.
Yeah, he could be the stopper, I guess.
The LeBron stopper.
My poor sport of the week is anyone named Cinnamon. No, my poor sport of the week.
They got to make money too, bro.
You're right. I'm sorry. No offense. The poor sport of the week is probably going to be Diane Sawyer,
Oh wow.
who conducted the interview, who asked Bruce Jenner if he was going to be a lesbian now. Because he's a woman, and he said he's still attracted to women.
Still attracting to women.
Not gay.
So does this mean
That
you're going
was-
to be a
that was-
lesbian now?
I'll say this on a serious note: for a 65-year-old man who was once deemed with the title of the greatest athlete to ever live, decathlete, gold
I mean,
medalist.
bro, that's the first athlete I knew.
Right.
Like that was my first favorite athlete.
I never knew he was that big. Like that's crazy.
That's
I truthfully
pretty.
didn't
That's
know
pretty
that.
bold
It is.
to be doing that and to come out and say like, yeah, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's
Like,
whatever.
I was, I was been talking to some of my friends about it. Like, when I saw that he said that he wasn't gay, like that actually did, like that's hard. Like, for anybody that's transgender and they've got those kind of struggles. I mean, I wish him the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's.
I truthfully didn't want to believe it. Like, this whole lead up, like, when he wasn't giving me much to stand on, though. Every time I looked in the grocery store and I saw him with pink nails or a French manicure, I was like, you're not helping me, Bruce. Like, I can't keep going to bat for you if this isn't real.
and that he's 65 years old.
And here's one of the things I want to touch on for the younger people out there that know him as the Kardashians' dad. And you can kind of, with that transition, it's not as weird. You go from being on TV, these reality shows are messing people up all the time. It just looks weird. But I'm going to put the equivalent to this. LeBron James in 20 years decides to become a woman. Like, put that into the same perspective of Bruce Jenner in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
For what
the ultimate athlete.
For what you knew.
For what we know is, on the surface of who Bruce Jenner was. On the first athlete on the Wheaties box. He did a lot to start getting those endorsements for athletes.
Right.
So he him being that guy played a lot, with Michael Jordan getting endorsements and stuff like that. Yeah. So, a manly man, the athlete of all athletes, decathlon.
7 grandkids, 18
no,
kids.
He's got more. He's got I don't even know how many grandkids he has.
He's got
Courtney,
a lot.
I feel like he's got like 15 kids.
Yeah,
Courtney has a kid a week.
And so to put that in perspective, it would be like LeBron James right now. We see him, and he's your hero growing up. And he becomes a woman in 30 or 40 years.
7'3" with heels.
But then
I had to.
in 15 or 20
and
years,
his hairline's still going forward.
Shots fired.
That was good. That was
good.
In 15 or 20 years, I mean, everybody's gonna be married to a man and a woman.
Pretty much.
No,
I mean,
don't
probably.
like it.
Never know.
Just
you never know. The way we're going.
Give me 2 women, I'm fine.
Here we go.
We can make it work.
Cinnamon and sugar.
Cinnamon's on hold. We're gonna talk to her in a moment.
Cinnamon and sugar.
Wow.
Coming over.
Oh my goodness.
Josh, thanks for bringing the capital flavor to us.
Always.
Go Cubs.
Definitely go Cubs, go. Love being here with you guys. Always love chopping it up. You guys are great.
Yeah, man, we'll send the private jet next time so it's easier to get here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have to hail 3 cabs. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll get you an Uber ride.
Nice.
Well, not in Vegas because Uber's not out here yet. Thanks to the Taxi Cab Authority. I used to drive for Uber, so I'm a little bitter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, they were out here for a month.
They were, and then they got shut down.
So, we'll see what's up. So much politics going on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Uber.
By Uber. Make sure you check us out every Monday, 1 p.m. Times might change. We have no idea. But just make sure you check it out. PoorSportsShow.com. Also on GorillaCross.com. Check me out every Tuesday on Speak Live Radio at 7 p.m. West Coast time. And my man Frank.
You can tweet her at me on VegasFrank_PS. You can follow us on the Instagram at Poor Sports Show. And we'd love to hear from you guys. You can email us as well. We have an email account at poorsportsshow@gmail.com. Josh, how can the people get a hold of you?
A lot of different ways. Of course, I have my Trash Talking with Legends basketball show every second Tuesday with my brother, Junkyard Dog Williams, Jerome Williams, former NBA player. That comes on the Vegas Video Network, JYD Show. We also are on iTunes, YouTube. We're pretty much everywhere. Me personally, you can find me on Twitter at JMAW10 and on Instagram, on IG at 3rd, the number 3 RD SON Will.
Boom. There you go. So make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and follow us on SoundCloud to get these podcasts right here. For Vegas Frank and my man Josh Williams, I'm Quan59. This has been Poor Sports Show right here on GorillaCross.com. It's PoorSportsShow.com. See you next week, guys. Go Pacquiao.
Cinnamon next week, live in studio.
Hey.